Hello friends, the video that you should be seeing right next to me on the side of your screen was something that is kind of an important sign of the times, I guess is the way that I could put it. So what you're seeing is, this is the Polish-Belarusian border, and you see a large black vehicle races through the Polish side towards the Belarusian side, full speed. They eventually hit, I guess, spike strips or something, you can't really tell. But obviously something makes the vehicle stop, and I highly doubt that the driver had some amazing tires that were super resistant to those types of deterrences. But anyways, you see women and children sort of flood out of the vehicle, whereas the father turns to go back towards the Polish guards, kind of actually using himself like a human shield to sort of draw the attention, and essentially, like I guess in the American football, lay down a block so that way, no one can get around him, and the wife and 3 kids there can run to the Belarusian side. So what's happening here? This video made huge news in Russia, first off, okay? This video was a big thing. And it was a big thing in Russia not only because it's something relevant to Russia that people with Russian citizenship are trying to come back home from Europe in a very unusual way. But, on the first layer, we have to remember, guys, that if you're a parent, I don't know, especially a parent of small children, like if you already have like teenagers or something, I understand that. Or maybe even like 12 or 13-year-olds where they sort of know what they're doing and can essentially, they understand how politics work and how to play the game. But if you have little children and you're in the West, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Because not only is there the whole juvenile justice, as they call it, which is essentially a Scandinavian bureaucratic language for, we can take your kids for whatever damn reason we think up. Not only is there that, and trust me, that reasoning is spread way beyond the borders of Scandinavia. And not only that, now we're into this whole rainbow alphabet logic where if your boy touches some sort of pink car, he might be groomed to think of things in a new gender light, I guess we could say. YouTube is very censorship heavy, so what can I do? But, you could see that in this instance, I'm going to guess. I'm going to take an educated guess here because I didn't quite see any official sort of verdict on this. But I think because these people seem to be pretty Muslim looking and probably pretty deep in their faith there in order to sort of maintain the look, makes you kind of think that their traditional values did not go well with some of the tendencies in Europe that I described before. Because remember, Europeans love to be tolerant towards Islam until it contrasts their rainbow flag goals. So you can be Islamic as you want until your Islam meets up with their interpretation of the Quran. So keep that in mind, Muslim friends, about where you're going to live in the future. But also, I think for me personally, that was more what Russian society, I think, saw in this video. But for me personally, and maybe a lot of people in Russia who are a little bit on the gray-haired older side, we saw in this video like the opposite of the Berlin Wall. Because yes, if you look at North and South Korea and the whole when there was East and West Germany, there were some people who went from the West to the East, but come on. True, in North Korea, it's happened too. Seriously, you might not believe it, really. They do get defectors who go to North Korea for various reasons. But obviously, the defection rate was, I don't know, probably 10 to 1, 20 to 1, 40 to 1. I'm not really sure. I don't have the statistics, but the West during the Cold War received much more people who were willing to take a risk and sort of flee over the border than there were people who would try to storm from west to east. And this video is kind of the first time we've seen the opposite of that happen in the modern world. And if you think about it in this context where, again, this is my supposition that they're Muslims and that their life in Europe was working out because their religion would definitely clashed with the cultural norms of Europe that are being brutally enforced. Well, I call them norms. Norms tend to seem to almost happen organically. Inorganic norms enforced on the European public. They're in contrast with those, and they're fleeing for freedom by going back home to Chechnya in the Russian Federation, which is pretty crazy. I mean, when you grow up in a Cold War environment and you've seen really you're bred on seeing the exact opposite happening, it's pretty crazy when you see people then fleeing to Russia at great risk, because who knows what happened to the father. They didn't shoot him, which is nice. Because you have to remember, no matter what people might say, Poland and like people at places like Poland and Hungary and Croatia and all them, they still have their edge. I'll put it that way. The population does. It's not like France where you could practically urinate on the flag and no one would do anything to you. In fact, probably they do on weekends. But anyway, so he wasn't shot or anything, at least not on camera. But still, he probably believed he was going to. And he was willing to take a few bullets to the chest for his wife and kids to be able to go to Russia. That's pretty crazy. That's something to think about.